Hi everybody, it's Denise Lush here for Grafix. Today I am going to show you 8 ways you can use craft plastic in the crystal clear. In this package you get 4 12 by 12 inch sheets and they are a thickness of 0.020 inches. The craft plastic comes with a protective film on each side, which is very easy to remove. And once that protective film has been removed, the plastic is crystal clear. The first technique I'm going to share with you is embossing. For this, I am using the Big Shot machine. I removed both protective films on each side of the craft plastic, and I placed it in the embossing folder. Then I use the correct plates for the machine in order to do the embossing. The next technique is die cutting. For this, I again remove both sides of the protective film on the craft plastic, and then I put it through my Big Shot using the correct plates for die cutting. Next up, we have alcohol inks. Craft plastic works great with alcohol inks. For this, I just removed one side of the film, just in case I got some on my work mat underneath. I didn't want to get the alcohol ink on the other side of the craft plastic. So once this has dried, I will remove the back film and will show you how it looks. You can also use paint on craft plastic. This opens up a world of possibilities. Okay, we're halfway there. Before we move on, I just wanted to show you how easy it is to cut the craft plastic with a pair of scissors. For number 5, we have heat embossing. For this, I removed one side of the protective film on the craft plastic. Then you just ink your stamp with some clear embossing ink and stamp your image onto the craft plastic. There are a wide variety of colors that you can choose from when it comes to embossing powders. I stuck with a black for this one. When I used the heat gun on the craft plastic, I did experience some warping of the craft plastic. Now, I was a little impatient, so I put my heat gun a little close to the craft plastic. So maybe if you had a little more patience and not put the heat gun so close to the plastic, maybe you would not get as much warping. I could test this again to see, but I didn't find it too much of a problem. Once I was finished melting the embossing powders, I just went over the entire piece with the heat gun again, and then placed the acrylic block on top of the craft plastic, helping to flatten it out. Now I will note that it was a little harder getting that back layer of the film off the craft plastic once it had been heated with the heat gun. Not impossible, just a little more difficult. Did you know you can also stamp on craft plastic? I highly recommend using a permanent waterproof ink. One like the Ranger Archival ink pad would work great. Others will tend to smudge and not really completely dry. Once I had the stamped image, I had the thought of coloring it. So I decided to give it a try with some Copic markers. These are alcohol-based markers. So to color this, instead of coloring on the same side that I stamped on, I am removing the protective film on the back side of the craft plastic, and I'm flipping the piece over and I'm coloring on the back. The last technique I'm sharing with you today is collage. And to make this even easier, I'm using double tack mounting film by Grafix. I adhered the mounting film to the piece of collage before cutting it out. That way my entire piece is covered with the double tack mounting film. Now this is clear, so it will not show through the craft plastic. One side of the film has been removed from the craft plastic, and that is the side that I am adhering the collage piece to. Now you will see when I remove that other layer of film off the craft plastic, you cannot see the adhesive from the mounting film, and you're left with a clear image of the pattern that's on back of that collage image. Now here's a recap of the techniques you have seen today. First we have the dry embossing, then we have the die cutting, next we have the alcohol inks, and you can see that other side of the film has been removed and it is quite beautiful. Then we have the piece we painted on, and then we have the heat embossing. Next is the stamped image, which has been colored with Copic markers. Now you could also try this with paint markers. Then last we have the collaged piece. I do hope you enjoyed this video and give these techniques a try. And don't forget to tag us on social media so we can see your creations.